Looking to break into Minnesota's legal cannabis industry? The next licensing round opens February 18th, and you don't have to navigate it alone. Jen Rice and her team can guide you through every step of the process at North Star Cannabis Consulting. Start with their free industry newsletter. Then let them help with license applications and business strategy to empower your success in this growing market. Don't miss your opportunity. Get professional guidance from a team that knows Minnesota's cannabis landscape inside and out. Contact North Star Cannabis Consulting today. Visit northstarcannabisconsulting.com to learn more. Keeping track of your grow doesn't have to be a hassle. Meet Plant Track. That's PLNTRK, a tool built by Minnesota growers for growers like you. Track every stage of your plant with intuitive progress bars for each phase. Stay on top of your grow with text reminders for watering, feeding, and photos. And when it's time to log data, it couldn't be easier. Just scan a QR code or tap an NFC tag to instantly access your plant's details and updates. You can even log your interactions for one or all your plants in just seconds. Ask detailed questions with the AI chat powered by your plant's data and get the help that you need when you need it. It's free for up to 8 plants. Go to www.plntrk.com now and start tracking your grow. Hello, hello.
Hello. I took just like the longest rip.
Good.
Came in. That was awesome.
We can get you another dab if you want before we jump in.
Can't do it.
All right. We'll save it for
Tanner.
the middle. We'll save it for the middle part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the ad break, we're just high as fuck.
Well, it's just you're not even in the chair, and just Tanner's like, and I'm back.
Standing up. Yeah.
That is my favorite part about the Cooking with Clem segments is Marcus gets slightly lower and slightly higher and slightly slower in rolling joints every single segment. So by the time he's at the back, he's like, and we're back with Clem cooking.
It's some like 1970s late night jazz radio station.
Dude. Yeah, the energy of the first one was like, and we're back. Welcome with Clem. Yeah, we talk about that.
Have that shit just going all night.
In fact, you guys might be watching
higher.
public access TV right now. You could be just like sitting at home. You turn on the public access channel on your TV, and here we are. And you're hearing us talk about your lived experience right now, and you're thinking, man,
whoa,
I'm so stoned. Do these people know
how they do that?
That I'm watching in Minnesota right now? And we do. We can see you through the camera.
Paul.
I'm looking at you, Keith.
And we're back.
We're back.
Another episode of Northern Lights. Howdy, howdy. Episode 18. Welcome back in the studio with John and Jordan. How's it going, guys?
Hanging down at the Seed and Sesh, loving life.
Hell yeah. I love St. Paul.
Happy to be here. It's another week. It's the end of January, or as you guys are listening right now, the beginning of February. New month. Year's chugging along. Can you believe it's only been a month?
That last month was the longest year of my fucking life.
It's been the longest month.
Yep. 31 days. 31 days since New Year's Eve.
And I'm suddenly 65 years old.
Oh, yeah.
You guys remember the New Year's episode? Just like few days after he's coming in and he's like, ha, 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 ha. That feels so long ago.
That does feel very, very long ago.
So long ago, I don't even think I remember.
Dude, like...
And think of how many hours
that was
you spent it.
like 3 weeks. It's like actually like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why we should tell people we're taking a short break, not this coming week, but for President's Day weekend, we're going to be off. So we've got one more episode after this one and then a short break so we can hopefully remember the rest of the year.
We can remember more shit.
Yes, you're right. I do so much editing that at this point, like, people would, sometimes say like, oh, I want Morgan Freeman to narrate my life, or I want, Kate Blanchett to narrate my life. Right now, Tanner Barris is narrating my inner thought. Like, you have become my inner monologue voice. Yep. Because Tanner's voice, I hear Tanner's voice more than I hear my own voice, more than I hear my wife's voice. coworkers' voices. Tanner, you are the echoes around in this here dome of mine.
I'm just like imagining you wake up in the morning and it's like, and we're back in Tanner's voices every morning.
There has to be some way to set that as an alarm clock.
Yeah, I would do it. I'd do it.
And we're back. And we're back.
Oh my god!
But then on days I don't want to get out of bed, it's
Yeah. Just patent pending, Marcus.
the Marcus sniff, patent pending,
So good.
the Harcus huff.
Yeah.
Oh, the Harkus Huff. Oh, hell yeah.
It's why he's the only
Trademark
person
thing.
who can be part of the Tanner's Trip tasting without ever consuming cannabis through smoke or vaporization. He gets enough just through the nose, so he's good. Yep.
Amazing. It's inspiring to watch him work.
Shout out to Marcus.
Love you, Marcus.
Shout out.
Well, guys, we got a full episode today. We got to talk about some applications upcoming with OCM. Have you guys heard there's business licenses that people are trying to give out? We also got to talk about an alternative approach to regulating cannabis, something that's a little bit different for our show, but something we wanted to throw in.
Alt weed.
Yeah, alt weed. We're going to be also submitting a comment live during this show, or at least we're going to record it and you guys can watch it later, to OCM's website, talking about our thoughts on the rules to show you guys it really is that simple.
Just that easy to like go on the internet and talk to OCM, and they like have to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. They have to.
Can you believe it?
I want to just pause on alt weed. Is that like kind of like emo weed?
Well, you'll see.
Ooh.
Okay.
You'll see.
Is it like Midwest
Scene.
pop like okay.
Scene weed.
I'm
It
trying
is
to figure
very
out
much
like
scene weed.
where my mind should be. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm
You're
just-
so welcome. And then, of course, we've got the high note at the end. You guys can always expect we finish with a high note.
We tried to.
Yeah, we definitely
I
try
feel like
to.
we start with the high notes sometimes.
Something's high.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to be starting with something fun today. Did you
Yeah,
guys
right
know we've got a game?
Ooh.
Game.
Game. Yeah, as listeners of this show know, we now start with games because keep it fun.
Jordan hit us.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Do we have a
yeah.
game sound?
No, that's not right. That's
No, we
not
don't.
right.
We need like a rocky. Hey, okay.
And
There we
welcome
go.
back to the Minnesota Canna Games.
Hell yeah.
Today we've
Let's play.
Today we've got a great game. You know, last time we classified our games into the good ones, the bad ones, and then the rest of them.
all
And
right, yeah.
I think today might be a good one, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to lay it too high. Today our game is called Looking Into the Crystal Bong. This is where we're going to insert some sort of graphic. Yeah, there we go. That's what we call an audible graphic.
Bong.
Now, this is a pretty fun game. We're going to be looking into our crystal bong and asking ourselves, what do we think is going to happen throughout the rest of the year? We're a 12th of the way done, cruising along. What could possibly happen the rest of the year? Now,
Time for big
what we're going to do
swings.
is we're going to rank 5 different events from most likely to least likely. You're not coming up with the events. I've got them all
Ooh,
here.
let's go.
Oh, and we're blind ranking. So do we know what's coming next?
Bingo. So choose carefully. Otherwise, you may end up
Okay.
having to explain why it's unlikely that the legacy market will exist by the end of this year. Or you might have to say why it's a guaranteed that Charlene Briner is going to open her own dispensary. You guys get to decide, but
No comment.
blind. So what we're going to do is we've got the 5 events right here. I'm going to read them to you, and then you guys have to decide where are we ranking them on our most likely to least likely scale there.
Okay.
Now, here's the first one. After months of public backlash and industry pushback, Minnesota's Office of Cannabis Management shocks everyone by quietly eliminating the controversial 70% THC cap from their final regulations. Craft cannabis makers rejoice and, for once, actually agree with the government decision. What do you guys think? Where is that on the most likely to least likely scale, not knowing any of the other events?
What do we think, John? Because so you're saying it's like in a
Yeah, OCM's going to come in and they're going to say, you know what, we were
They're gonna
wrong
get
about the
rid of it.
70%.
they're
Like,
just gonna
during
they're
this
just gonna
rules
totally
process,
pivot
we won't-
180.
Yep,
Yeah,
just
we just
say
won't see it
they're
in the
gonna-
final rules.
Yeah, we know that's not what we want to do.
Yeah.
We're just going to, we agreed we're going to get rid of that one.
Okay.
Because nothing is finalized.
I mean, John, you're the expert here.
No, I'm not.
Compared to me, I'm the guy. Look at me. I'm behind the cameras. Remember?
Yeah, you play one.
I say, you know what we should do? We should hedge. We should put it at 2.
All right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah.
So you think
2 to
it's
3. 2 to 3
pretty
was
likely,
where
but
my
maybe not the most likely event.
well, it's more I'm using context clues of knowing you and where your mind is probably going to go with some of these.
Yeah.
What?
So I'm just
And he's given us, yeah, exactly.
I'm just preempting. I'm preempting some goofy shenanigans. So
You don't want to lock one up.
All right, all right.
You don't
That's
want to
fair.
lock 5 up.
5 is also hard. I'm used to doing this with like 10.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
But you're a busy man.
Here we go. So locking that in, OCM removes the 70% cap on concentrates. Number 2, pretty likely.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see.
2. Yeah, let's go 2.
Because
John.
that's one of, like, I guess it's one that people have been talking a lot about. Like, a lot of people have an interest in that one because it would be like, oh, we are now the state with, like, low weed everywhere. And hemp, we have one of, like, the most, like, regulated but lowest milligram count. And then now on the cannabis side, to be capped at 70%, it's like you can kind of smoke weed in Minnesota.
What is the phrase Marcus always uses? It's legalization light.
Yeah, legal-ish.
Legalish.
Yeah, there you go.
Legal-ish.
All right. Well, so here's the next one. You guys are ranking. Minnesotans thought that they had a huge lead when legalization passed in 2023, but thanks to lawsuits, regulatory delays, and bureaucratic red tape, the first dispensaries still haven't opened by the end of 2025. Meanwhile, Wisconsin, long believed to be an anti-cannabis stronghold, shocks the world by passing a fully operational adult use bill, allowing dispensaries to open within months. Minnesotans start making weekend trips to Eau Claire, and Wisconsin dank tourism becomes a thing. What do you guys think? Is Wisconsin going to open stores before?
You really
They had me in the first half.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Jinx?
You owe me a soda.
Soda pop.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper, please. Preferably. Yeah. Okay, but
So what
no.
do you guys think? Do you think it's
5, dude.
Yeah,
Think
I was
5?
gonna say 4 or 5. But yeah, I'm gonna defer to John
Like,
on that.
Like the first half, right?
Yeah.
It was like that part makes sense. Even though it won't happen, I'll say, because like people are going to, and if you really want to define dispensary, you could say but like let's not define but like that's not gonna happen. We're gonna have them open probably September at the latest. I would if it's like but then Wisconsin, that's not gonna happen. Maybe when we're 40.
So if you're trying to decide between like University of
legalize
Madison, University of Minnesota, it's come to Minnesota.
Or if like Tony Evers
But
if you're listening,
starts destroying the rules.
I've learned one thing in life, and it's like don't underestimate a Wisconsinite in.
Where have you learned that?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
Drinking.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
No,
So we'll
you're
put that
right.
one at a 5. That's
5.
You think that's
I'm
on?
good with the 5.
I don't.
All right. Moving on. Famous Minnesotan writers, directors, and producers, Joel and Ethan Coen, known for their movies such as Fargo, No Country for Old Men, and The Big Lebowski, launched their own hemp-derived edible company called No Mids for Old Men, featuring edible products such as the Big Lebowski chocolates. They also have gummies that help you go to sleep. They also launched a THCA flower brand in Wisconsin, and their slogan, "This bud really ties the room together."
It's the Ballad of Buster Nuggs right there.
So what do you guys think? Is that likely to happen this year? Are we going to see the Coen brothers come and start a cannabis brand in Minnesota?
I'm lightheaded from giggling.
The Big Lebowski. I'm pretty proud of that.
Well done.
Thank you.
These are good.
I feel like I'm trying to think of the movie about where the guy's really unhappy. And then he gets cancer right at the beginning. It's like The Happiest Man in the World, something like that.
Maybe. I got to be honest. I don't know. But
yeah.
Should we
I
pause
was going to say
this
the
and go watch
highest
real
man
quick?
in the world. Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
And we're back.
Yeah, it was the highest man in the world. All right. There you go.
but God, Tanner, those were great.
Thank you. So,
But yeah, to
you
answer
gotta
your
decide.
question, I'm still just like kind of
got
seeing
one-
stars from laughing.
we got 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah,
open.
1, 3, and 4 are still open. I'm gonna throw that down to a 4. Not because I don't
almost
want it
wanted to give it a 3. Out of just like, man, that'd be great.
I would love to have it at 1, but I feel like they're busy enough guys.
But maybe they're just like straight up hacks, and they see this and they're like, okay, we're taking his exact shit. They're like, yeah, no, movies were original. Other business, yeah, okay.
They can have no mids for old men. If they want to start that, I want to live in that world.
Okay, yeah.
So 3, that's where we sort of decided?
3. But yeah, if anybody knows either of the Coens, send them this episode.
I know someone who is in one of their movies. Is that as close of a connection?
That's close enough.
All right, we'll reach out.
Send him this episode, yeah.
All right. All right, so we got 1 and 4 left.
1 and 4.
So what you're going to decide for the next one is this the most likely event?
Yep.
Or is this medium likely event? Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. In what Metro Transit calls a deeply unfortunate ventilation failure, the entire Green Line mysteriously filled with thick cannabis smoke during rush hour. Passengers, expecting the usual chaos of a packed train, instead find themselves remarkably chill, striking up deep conversations with strangers and collectively agreeing that the gentle sound of the light rail combined with the noise of the cityscape is just, weirdly soothing. Despite an official investigation, no culprit is ever identified, leading to wild speculation about whether this was an accident, a protest, or just a gift from the universe.
Good Samaritan right there.
Yeah. It goes viral, inspiring a wave of accidental hotboxes across Minnesota. Well, Metro Transit just sort of begrudgingly accepts it because train complaints drop to an all-time low. What do you guys think? Is that most likely, or is that less likely than the Coen brothers starting their own cannabis brands?
Hey, is the train on time? I don't care.
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Like, we're all just here.
Or I feel like it'd be like the Cheech and Chong thing with like, man, this train is moving real fast, man. And someone looks at it and goes, we're not moving, man.
Yep. Holy.
Oh, my God.
Wow. I love your mind. Oh, my God. I'm going to put that at a 1. It's got to happen.
We think it's most likely.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, do you take I don't take the train.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to be selfish and put it at a 4 because I don't take
Okay, fine. I'll agree. For the sake of unity,
I don't take the
I'll go 4.
I wish, though. Oh, my God. That one is...
I feel like that could solve a lot of, early, like, people showing up to the office, wherever the office is, and they're just, they're okay. They're just going to ride into their day. They're going to... Everything's going to be fine. Doug down in accounting isn't going to be riding you about those... whatever accounting people ride people about.
He's going to come in and he's going to be like, man, did you know you can put Cheez-Its and pickles together and eat them in one snack and it doesn't taste bad? Thanks for the tip, Doug.
Yep.
All right, so we've got 4 of our 5 done. The last remaining spot, the most likely.
I hope we timed it up well, John.
Let's hear what you guys think is the most likely. In a desperate attempt...
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. A desperate attempt is just a great opening to the most likely thing.
Here we go.
It's not boding well here.
Yeah.
In a desperate attempt to stay relevant in a post-Amazon world, the Mall of America fully leans into the cannabis rave by transforming the Rainforest Cafe into a jungle-themed food court and dab bar. Guests can enjoy infused beverages and snack on edibles while animatronic gorillas judge their life choices through a thick haze of vapor. It immediately becomes a top tourist attraction. Cinnabon is selling out daily, and Aunt Annie's releases a new blueberry muffin pretzel that becomes the official munchie of the state of Minnesota. Now, the state doesn't love
icing.
it. Yeah, but they reluctantly allow it because the tax revenue is just too good.
Let's go.
Most likely.
It's gonna happen.
I'm there. Sign me up. I will be there for weekends and holidays.
So I personally hope basically all of these happen, especially that dab bar at the Mall of America.
Dab bar needs that.
See, I was thinking these were gonna be like like more along the lines of like Wisconsin in a quick course of. I thought it was going to be more along those lines.
The first one,
but now we're like, oh, okay.
The first one now is looking like okay, whatever.
Yeah, I like how you guys at the beginning were like, we get the game, so we're gonna play this light, and you just don't get how extreme I can go.
Why do we always underestimate you?
So let's just to review. The most likely event is that the Mall of America is going to announce a cannabis-friendly food court / dab bar space. We've got then the OCM removing the 70% cap on concentrates. Personally, I hope that's more likely to happen, but here we go. Then we've got the Cohen brothers launching their own cannabis brand here in Minnesota. We've got someone accidentally, quote unquote, hotboxing a light rail train car, but passengers describing the experience as pleasant. And least likely, Wisconsin legalizing cannabis before Minnesota launches. Wow, guys.
Man, someone at MOA, I don't know, it doesn't have to be Rainforest Cafe, guys. You got to just go apply.
There's open spaces. I know. There has to be.
Has to be. It's legal.
There's got to be space where I could put a dab bar in. Or at least, a seat and session.
Right next to American Girl doll.
Yeah.
How many bars? Yeah. How many bars are in there?
Too many. Well, and that's my thought is like,
many.
So I go with people that I love who enjoy shopping. And I'm sure it shocks everyone on here. I don't. It's not my thing. I don't enjoy it.
What?
I hate it. And so if I could say, hey, yeah, I'll come find you in just a couple of minutes. And then I come back and I'm like, yeah, you want to go walk around the store? Cool. Yeah, sure. I think that would make a better experience for everyone. The light rail attaches there. We could hotbox it on the way. It'd be
brilliant. This is all just part of Tanner's ideal society.
Yeah, Tanner's Minnesota, dude.
Utopian Bloomington area.
Run for governor.
I want to dab 75% concentrates on the light rail, headed to the Mall of America to go to the dab court to buy Cohen Brothers edibles, and then give the fuck you to Wisconsins at the same time. All right, there we go. That was a good game. I like that one. So, what do you guys think? Is that in the okay, the bad, or the
Minnesota flag just behind him?
I'm gonna put that in the dank category.
All right, we'll bring that one. We'll bring that one back at some point. But man. Yeah, what a year! I'm looking forward to 2025, especially if literally any of those things happen. That'd be exciting.
Those were all perfectly balanced.
Yeah,
They were like, you could have this, but you're going to have this, that, and that.
Yeah, it's a classic red button.
Yeah.
Wisconsin opening up.
You're good at this.
Dispensaries first would be so insane. It'd be so funny.
Oh, we should. Well, and so what really inspired me was looking back on some of the Start Tribune articles from the past year, and there was that one about how Wisconsin industry is really more advanced than Minnesota. And like,
on the flower side.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
they just
on the regulatory side, which is what it takes to build an actual industry.
Yeah.
Well, they are not. So
there's lots of people selling flower in Minnesota,
go find
too.
Some bullshit THCA anywhere in the country.
Bingo. And so I was just thinking like, man, what if Wisconsin did somehow fuck that? And so, but I think that is a 5. I agree with you guys. More likely that the Cohen brothers start a brand and the Mall of America allows dabs inside than Wisconsin legalizing first, maybe.
Imagine you came back home, right, from somewhere, like you're like, okay, let's go stop it. MOA, let's go.
It would finally be a reason to go to the Mall of America.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to find a reason to get Minnesotans to go there. I personally, don't like going to MOA.
No,
but I would go for that reason.
Yeah, the only reason I ever go to the mall is if something gets ordered online and then must be returned, and like the mall is the only, like, it's just, all right, we're parking here, we're gonna go in really quick, we know exactly where to go, we're gonna return, because it's like, like, honestly, the place is overwhelming, and I've never lived more than 15 minutes away from that mall.
So the last few times I've gone to that mall has been to go to the Hideaway inside that mall.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Hideaway Express in there.
Shout out Rick Bronson's House of Comedy, though. That's a good reason to go to the mall.
Yeah,
that's a good reason to go.
Well, and let's just take a minute to sort of dig down this rabbit hole. So for those who want to listen to the news, press 15 seconds forward like 30 times. But imagine if they did put this dab bar into the mall, how everything at the mall just becomes cooler. I would totally go to, Nickelodeon Universe now. Those rides, way cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Legoland, sign me the fuck up.
Okay,
the
slow down. Legoland is always.
It's already cool.
Yeah, I was just say I can't pretend like I'm not already high at the mall.
But here,
true. Yeah, that's the only condition in which I get convinced to go.
When I go to the mall,
when I do rides,
if I'm really high, I wouldn't be as comfortable going up to like the kid Lego table where kids are like actively building stuff.
Yeah.
I want them to know there's a dab bar right around the corner. And this full-grown adult coming over to build with blocks, smelling just like eerily of like spicy cinnamon and like oranges.
Unctuous.
Yeah. That guy, he's just hit up the dab bar and he's here to play with Legos, not to do anything else. So then people know I'm not a threat. I'm just a stoner.
He's just a guy that wants to build some Lego.
I just want to build.
I like to build.
I did like working in special education for many reasons. One of them was it was cool to go to the Mall of America and be able to hang out with students, and they just wanted to play with Legos. And I would say, yeah, kid, me too. Me too.
So you've actually made it further in life than most, and you had monetized playing with Lego.
Oh, shit. And I quit that job.
Oh, my God.
Moron.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Now you do podcasts?
Oh, my.
Oh, jeez, Tanner. Where did you go wrong?
If any of my employers are listening, any schools, give me a call. I want to
Legoland.
get back in. Yeah, or Legoland. Actually, that's the direction I should go. Legoland, if you're listening, hit me up because I want to play with Legos all day and I don't want to sell them. So will you pay me to play with Legos all day?
We'll make a podcast about it. Wow. But to that point though, yes, everything would be better. Mm-hmm. But my favorite thing, and I think I've mentioned this before, but the people watching.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You just take a seat for 15 minutes at a few different places around the mall, and you keep the phone in the pocket, and you just kind of look around you. All of a sudden, these beautiful, rich, like tapestry of stories, like you just kind of overhear parts of conversations, and then. You kind of like, it's like not necessarily like making judgments on people, but you're like, like me being like a storyteller, I'm just like, I'm like giving context to like what their day's looking like. And it's like doing that a little roasty toasty.
Yeah. And if we're trying to think of a way to like repurpose all these mall spaces that are being wasted, I can totally picture them just becoming people watching spaces where you just come, you consume things, and you just interact with others around you.
It's the human aquarium.
It's a human aquarium.
So, I imagine it's like locked stalls, right? So you just like kind of go in, you have your private little room. It's like one-way glass. So you're watching people, and you sit there with your dab and just kind of.
See, I think it should just be like a little, like you're like a sushi restaurant has like the little conveyor belt. The people on the, like, it's just like a little conveyor belt that moves you around the mall while you're doing a dab.
So here I was picturing you sitting on a counter and it's like moving jars along. No, it's giant.
No, it's giant human conveyor belts. It's moving sidewalks where you get to then people watch the whole mall.
Did you guys ever go to the Minnesota Zoo growing up where they had the tramway?
The monorail.
Yeah. Monorail. I want a slow-moving monorail at the MOA where it just rides around. You sit in your chair and you just look out, see the animals.
The world's slowest roller coaster.
All right, Mall of America, if you're listening, hit us up. We have so many ideas.
Yeah.
And we also have some more dabs here where we can come up with a lot more. And probably some of them are
like
not bad.
At first, I was like ridiculing you too, but the more I think of a monorail at the Mall of America, the more I'm like, that makes sense.
I mean, they got the little kid versions that like get
America.
pulled around as like the little like just entertainment thing. But
is there any rule that says you can't be an adult and ride this?
I mean, mostly just physical.
Oh, just like physics.
Like so your knees are going to be in your neck.
Can't get
in. Yeah.
I mean,
okay,
you
wait.
can try.
And we're back. Welcome to another episode of Northern Lights, riding around the MOA.
For the listening audience,
ripping dabs.
Imagine Tanner is just having jumped off a diving board and is about to cannonball into a pool.
Oh, I believe what the Gen Zers, the millennials, whatever they call them, this is owling.
Oh.
Because I look like an owl. Just kidding. All right.
Like, I get it. I get it, but
we're going to take a short break here. When we get back, real news, you decide. We'll be right back.
You decide. Yeah.
I guess we decide. You listen.
And no, they decide in the end.
Yeah, that's true. You get to choose how many times you press that fast forward button. But not too many because we'll be right back.
70. Did you know that 70% of businesses fail in the first 10 years? And the number one reason they fail is because they run out of cash. Hi, I'm Dave Woodbeck. I'm the managing partner of Dope CFO. At Dope CFO, we help cannabis business owners beat the odds by providing financial leadership. Yes, we handle bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes, just like any accountant. But as one CEO recently told me, the last thing I need is another accountant. I need a partner who can help me achieve financial success. So take the first step towards financial success. Scan the QR code now and start your free assessment.
Attention Northern Lights listeners. Whether you're growing cannabis indoors or outdoors, organically or hydroponically, Eco Garden Supply has the tools to help you succeed. From premium organic nutrients to advanced hydro systems, they've got everything you need to cultivate like a pro at home. Head to ecogardensupply.com now or visit them in person at 800 Transfer Road, Suite 3, St. Paul, Minnesota 55114 and elevate your cannabis growing game. Eco Garden Supply. Growing supplies for the serious grower.
Quick shout out. Sure. Quick shout out to the St. Paul rec centers.
All right.
$30 a year.
Nice.
Yeah. It's awesome if you're a St. Paul resident.
And just dig deeper into the shout out. What are you?
That is where
I'm not a sporty person.
Going.
What is the rec center?
After this, a rec center is somewhere with a fitness center, a track. Some of them have pools, but like the big thing for me is the fitness center.
And they just have these
courts
and tons of basketball courts.
Great.
People were playing badminton last night.
Get some hoops
when I was there. There was a poet the other day. Oh, I was going. She's like, "Are you here to watch the poet?" I was like, "No," but.
Exercise of the mind.
Exactly. I was like, that's cool. I know people. We're just gathering to do that.
So this is it's like a gym.
It's like a
built
gym.
by the city.
I imagine similar fashion to a YMCA.
Something like that.
Is what I'm picturing.
We've already paid for it.
So it's like a bookstore, but like the library equivalent.
Like a
this
bookstore
is like
for your
the
body.
library of working
Fitness. Yeah. Fitness library.
Actually, yeah.
Like you have to pay for gym, but the rec center you sort of get just by like being.
If
a
you
citizen
live in
and paying
St.
a
Paul, $30 a year. A year.
And now, just to dig in a little bit deeper, so you can go and run and work out and swim there. So why are you paying? Shouldn't they be paying you?
Dude.
Like you're paying to work out?
I'm paying for the warmth, honestly, because we can always run outside. And
I can't.
I wouldn't run unless someone paid me to.
I'm only running if there's some danger.
Yeah, that reason too.
I run with the idea of danger at some point.
Just open-handed Tom Cruise sprint.
Dude, I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been on a treadmill and I've thought going fast, one day, you never know. I might have to run.
Hey, honestly, shout out to anybody.
I cannot tell you the amount of time.
Yeah, maybe this is a good call to action. Now's a good time to start getting in shape, folks.
I was like,
now,
shit, dude. What if one day someone's like, man, give me your shit, and I'm like, no. I can still do that.
You jog at a 1.5 incline,
dude. Yeah, and they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, nobody's catching you.
Been on a treadmill.
Nobody's getting you.
So shout out St. Paul Rec Centers, keeping me able to keep my mind
rectified.
That reminds me of butts, dude.
Oh, did you hear what the proctologist said when the patient sat on his glasses?
He was ready for this.
He said, "Oh no, you wrecked him." All right. Well, with that, should we get to the news?
Oh my god!
Shout out to my dad for that joke.
Mid-season form in January.
This is just what we got.
January, mid-season.
This guy is firing on all cylinders.
Give me a different random career. We got a joke for it. Just waiting in here. That's what you get by being a career teacher for 3 years.
Give him one.
Let's go. Cowboy.
Cowboy?
Yeah. Now this has turned into an improv comedy podcast.
See, what's so funny is I had no other jokes prepared. That was the one.
Have a cowboy joke?
If you guys have a good cowboy joke, put it in the comments below.
I thought I'd try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put it in the comments below and we can write it out of town.
The news.
How a cowboy rode into town on Monday and rode out of town on Wednesday, but he was only there for one day. How did that happen?
See, this is we gotta.
I feel like
make
if you
a
know,
clear
put it in the
distinction.
comments.
A
I
clear
know.
distinction between a joke and a riddle.
Because the horse was named Wednesday. Was that the joke, Jordan? Now is it a joke? All right, here we go. The news, baby. All right, so we've actually had a really quiet week in terms of the news, which is why we've been playing games. And
we've been yapping it up.
Because we don't really have a ton. OCM has been really quiet.
There was they had a hemp webinar.
Yep.
On Monday.
We're waiting for that to be uploaded to their YouTube page, so hopefully we'll get a bit more.
We didn't get much news.
No, it was reiteration of stuff that we previously know.
Wow, you really sent it on that.
I've heard some concern about what the rules could mean for the future of our hemp industry, and I think we're still trying to figure that all out. But
everyone is at every level trying to figure out what that interpretation of statute actually means. I've also heard some stuff about some cities really going hard on people right now with regulations.
Yeah, and that's one thing that
the news.
I was going to put on our looking into the crystal Bong game, but thought it was too dark. Are we going to see any cities just straight up say, nah, cannabis is illegal here. We're not going to let you open a shop. I think we should do a deep dive of it in the next episode, because the next one is going to be our last one before a long break. Yeah. We're going to be digging into a couple different municipalities, looking at how are people choosing to regulate. And that's sort of where we're at, is we're in the in-between of everything, including now the application window. So today, as of our recording, it is now the social equity verification round has closed. So if you're listening to this and you thought, oh shit, I was supposed to do that, sorry, you'll get them next time, kiddo. But for this time, what we have is the application round coming up. So we're now 2 weeks out as of the release of this episode. February 18th is when those applications open up, social equity and general applicants. Yep. So everyone is now able to apply for cannabis business.
It's
better late than never.
Right?
Uh-huh.
I think it's starting, yeah. So get in there, get your application ready, and if you've been ready, like all the people have been saying they are, oh, this is taking so long. It's taken 2 years, so you all must be ready. So everyone's gonna apply and get it.
Yeah,
going.
you know, right? Yeah,
right? Like that's what I've been hearing. So I hope that's what we get.
Yeah. So let's talk about what this means for
like a limited.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's like the 18th to the.
So February 18th is when that application window opens, and then March 14th is when it closes. So just about a month that people have. Yeah. But we're coming up to when it's time for people to get those turned in. So if you were one of the people who submitted for social equity during that first round for pre-approval, you got through and you were going to be part of that lottery, what do you have to do? Nothing. You just have to wait. They're getting to that lottery eventually, or to the issue of uncapped licenses very shortly here. If you're someone who wants to apply, this means you got to start getting together your application. And that probably leads you to the question, well, where is the application? And unfortunately, as of our recording, which is Friday, so maybe you have it by Monday, there's not yet an application available. We're assuming it's going to be virtually identical to the pre-approval application. So people can download that right off of the OCM's website. You can take a look and start filling that in. But yeah, it's maybe not unexpected, because government, it happens. It's, the rebuilding of regulation, especially right after a lawsuit happened. But I would have hoped that by this time we maybe would have had more of a guideline on what people would be submitting.
Like, yeah. I feel like especially after everything that happened with the social equity thing, I think we just need to get everything out real fast to let people. But once again, it's been 2 years, 2.5 years. Totally. You should be ready. And
we've seen that the questions that they ask you isn't like, what type of security camera are you going to buy for your company? But what does security mean to you?
Yes. What is your security plan?
Cameras, fences.
And someone's reading it, so you can't just BS it. Like, someone is actually reading it. You can't be like, oh, I wrote 4 paragraphs, wink, wink. It's like, no, someone is reading that shit. So if it's like, that's, I feel like what a lot of people fall into.
And what's nice about people reading it this time around is last time, if people read it and denied it, that was sort of it. That's how the pre-approval process was written.
Mm-hmm.
This time, however, if they say your application is not complete, you have the opportunity to fix mistakes, errors, or anything else. They're going to tell you have 14 days to respond, and then you got to give them back that information.
Yeah, and just a little back and forth.
They said multiple times during that last lawsuit cycle, we're really tied here by pre-approval rules. But once general licensure happens, we're going to be able to provide so much more input to people. And I'm hoping that this is that really coming to fruition.
Yeah, the pre-approval was done like last year, like towards the end of the session.
Yeah,
like the rest of the statute was like made by OCM, being like, this is exactly how we want to run this process. So I'm really hoping this will be different. The like 1 month window kind of I don't like. I would like if they just like kept an open rolling window where it's like we're not stopping taking applications ever, because that I don't see why.
Totally.
Yeah. Like make a backlog and
totally
get the ones out, and then people can like people can know, and we can work stuff out, and you can
And I hope that once that window closes, maybe they then say like, we plan to open it again in 30 days or whatever be it, and it's sort of a constant open and closing.
Something like that. And I'm really pumped for all the people who got into the lottery who are just going to get their license.
Yeah, because they've said, you heard it, we talked about it in past episodes during the OCM meeting, all that, so this isn't new news. But if you were one of those micro businesses that qualified for pre-approval and you were part of that lottery, didn't make it through, they've said they're going to work as hard as they can to get those applications issued as quickly as possible.
Yeah, in May it was looking like hoping OCM saying they're hoping dispensaries open in May. Yeah, not us.
And
OCM.
And that's like, it's February. Like, it's the beginning of February now. So that's February. We got March. We got April, and we're not going to really remember April anyways. And then May, and then we should have licenses issued.
Yeah. So exciting.
Yeah.
We could be here.
Yeah,
could be it, because I've talked to so many people who are visiting Minnesota, right? And they go to a store and they're like, oh, I can't buy weed. And it's like, we got rules here.
You can, but just
you can't
here,
not anywhere here. Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
And hopefully this moves us closer towards that. So if you're thinking of applying, go check out those instructions. And OCM said that all that should be available on their website in February. So we're going to look really silly if they post that on Monday and this episode comes out on Tuesday. So go check their website. They might have those resources out. And get ready to apply. It's time yet again for the application process.
Oh.
Yay.
Yeah, it's right. It's almost exhausting though. It is like a feeling of so much it's not exhausting. It's melodramatic, I think is the word. Yeah. It's like really melodramatic. It's not cathartic. It's like no release. It's just,
it insists upon itself.
There we go.
And it's been
this guy's on Twitter.
I feel like we've used this analogy before.
I'm not actually.
You're not? Oh, Jordan, you're just like, you're unconscious.
Do you want to drop your blue sky?
Relevant.
Yeah. No.
Unconsciously trendy and relevant. I want to tell you that.
Wait, what? Really?
Dude, that's discourse right now. You don't even know. See, oh my God, you're so cool. You don't even know.
What is the...
People got Seth MacFarlane to comment where it insists upon itself comes from, because some fucking art school kid from New York was talking about how it's actually like the perfect critique, and people were like, dude, it's fucking Peter Griffin, you dumb fuck. And then Seth MacFarlane's like, okay, like it's something like my college professor said, like this is where it comes from, like shut the fuck up, just like stop talking about it, stop having discourse about it. You don't even know, and you're so cool.
Didn't hear that. Don't know that. I just I find that phrase to be just like funnily or usually humorously ironic and
was
generally depreciating. It's normally like it's like the blowhard type kids in your class that were just always trying too hard. I was like, they insist upon themselves.
It was his professor's description of the sound of music. It insists upon itself as a critique.
Hey, it's a good. I like sound of music.
Right. A lot of people
like
do, but he was just like, he kind of insisted upon itself. I don't know.
See, I have a similar. Okay, like that reminds me of like I have a college professor. I don't even remember what his name was. I don't remember what the class was, but I remember him using the word sublime to be like the purest form of like compliment of something sublime. And I'm like, that's that. It's just for some reason stuck with me. So I am very careful about throwing out the word when something is sublime.
Yeah, so that's when you know
it's got some power to it.
Yeah,
you know.
I love those words that sort of live with you. Mine is shallow and pedantic, which is a line from a Family Guy episode from like 2008. Yeah,
dude.
Seth MacFarlane
is
quite shallow and pedantic.
pedantic.
Yeah. And something about that, I think I had that episode on my iPod growing up.
Ooh, the old iPod video.
Watched that 30 times in a month, and here it lives.
So much family.
20 years later.
I was embarrassingly old before I realized that epitome and epitome were the same word.
Epitome?
Because I read it in books.
Oh, and now I understand. I was like, I've never heard of that word before. Yeah.
Yep. And I thought I was I'm good with words, writing at least, and boy oh boy, that was a low spot.
Mine was the genetic company Canorado, which is a really well thought out name, and I thought it was pronounced Cannabaroo for a while. I was like, I like that. I'd buy their seeds.
Cannabaroo, yeah.
Cannabarado, Canorado, yeah. Ugh. Well, guys, you know what else is in just a couple of weeks here?
Tell me.
The Winter Beer Dabbler.
Oh my God! Wait, this is an organic plug.
I know, right? So I was looking over that poster and I was thinking, like, wow, that's actually coming up really soon here. I think back to last year when I went, my first time ever going to an alcohol event, and this year I get to say it's my second time ever going to an alcohol event, and I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, we're putting you right on the spot here, but anything you want to plug about it, or
I mean, the plug is itself. The Winter Beer Dabbler, the largest winter-themed beer festival in the United States. We embrace the cold in winter around here, and why not? You know, it's like the end of February.
St. Paul winter,
doldrums of winter. There's nothing to do. Why not get together at the state fairgrounds with 10,000 of your favorite new friends?
Yeah,
and just have like, you know, we don't like always condone overconsumption, but like, if you're going to do it at a controlled environment like a beer festival.
Absolutely.
Where everything's situated and coordinated for your maximum pleasure and fun. So Winter Beer Dabbler happening February 22nd at the State Fairgrounds.
We have motorized vehicles in the air again this year. Is that allowed to?
There is, yes. So we, on the internal side, we refer to the motocross and snowmobile and ATV stunt team as BRAP because that's the sound their engines make. It's like BRAP, BRAP, BRAP.
Yeah,
like
stunt team.
Yeah,
man.
No. So these are.
I'm there, dude. I'm there.
The amount of food trucks they have lined up. I will say it is a beer festival, but I went last year so stoned, and I'm going to do that again this year because while it is a great beer festival, it's also just a good time to just hang out and like, vibe.
State Fairgrounds, bus ride from my house, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's nice.
It's the largest event at the fairgrounds other than the fair. And we pride ourselves on throwing a good party.
That's pretty cool.
So
it's my first winter in St. Paul. I think I have to.
You got it.
You gotta. It's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage for Minnesotans who are beer drinkers, but also the non-alcoholic options have exponentially increased. Like the last 4 years, it's gone from like having 5 options to now 60 options. Like.
Well, and I try my best to like beer some, I think, but there's tons of cider options as well.
Ciders and meads.
So many things. Oh, yeah, the meads.
But yeah, like you said, the food truck alley, we got like 20 some food trucks of all options of cuisine and dietary restrictions and parameters. And we try to have something for everybody because this event is nothing without community, right? And the beer is just the vehicle for the community.
Yeah. So if it's anything like Doobie Dabbler.
Oh, it's a bigger party than Doobie Dabbler.
It'll be amazing.
It's a bigger part. It's about I don't know, 3 times the size of Doobie Dabbler.
All right, so I know I can scan that QR code. I can also just go slap hands with my buddy Kale over there and say, "You got me, right, homie?" And he'll put his hands up, and we know. But for people who are listening who can't just walk over, how would they get a ticket to this?
That's a great question, Tanner. Thank you. Yes, everybody can go to beerdabbler.com and click on the Winter Beer Dabbler tab, and that will bring you to all of the info page, and you can get your tickets there. Or if you want to avoid any like online ticket fees and also get 10% off your in-store purchase at the Dabbler Depot.
Ooh.
You can go and get your hard stock tickets from Dabbler Depot and take advantage of the many deals.
Can you do that at Seed and Sesh and 7th Street?
Oh, no, actually that's just going to be at West 7th, the liquor store.
The liquor store.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sweet. Well, that's fun. I'm looking forward to that one. And I got to say, Steve would be so proud of that. Just plug it right in.
Yeah. You just like, you kind of spur of the moment. I wasn't even expecting that. I was just going to put the commercial in there later and hope people don't just swipe past it, 15 seconds by it. And
no, but that sounds so fun.
Yeah, you can still put that.
It's a good time.
Looking forward to it.
It's a really good time. It's a great excuse to just get out of the house and have a good day. Like we make it as easy as possible. We've partnered with Metro Transit before. Again, it's going to be free rides on Metro Transit if you're leaving that event.
Wow.
So light rail or buses is free for you.
Wait, so you could hotbox the light rail leaving the Winter Beer Dabbler?
I mean, I don't want to condone any type of activities off of the event grounds that I'm responsible for.
I was going to say,
but
that's how next year Metro Transit no longer partners with the Winter
Beer
Dabbler.
Be like,
no, don't hotbox the train.
Don't do anything. Yeah,
please, as a representative of the company,
I
will not condone.
But definitely come to the event. It will be a good time. You can hang out with us.
You were saying though, like THC drinks.
Yeah, unfortunately, so THC drinks we are able to have non-infused drinks, but that is not an us decision. That is a state fair insurance. The state fair would be like the state fair as a business would be like we'd love that, but their insurance company
that's what it's been
like
industry wide.
Nope, we can't do that, and so it's like it is just a hard and fast rule.
And that's
so there's like Insight will bring their Pixels brand. But it's not going to be, unfortunately, infused. There might be some CBD options. That's going to be cool.
It'll still be non-alcoholic.
Plenty. There's a full-on giant booth devoted to non-alcoholic with many, many, many options. And DD tickets are cheap and always available. We want to make sure everybody gets home safe and sound from our events because we know it's a party. We want to make it the safest party we can.
And there's nothing better than like bundling up and
just
being
get
in a
cozy.
crowd. You know, it's like
and there's no shortage of places to warm up because we hire hot air balloon companies and we just tell them to leave the balloons at home.
Yeah, they're cool.
And they just bring out their baskets and their giant just columns.
And you can go inside the Coliseum.
The Coliseum is a place
set
to
up in
warm
there
up.
Too.
Yeah, and there's going to be market craft market in the Coliseum, but also more vendors. We've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah.
This is a big party.
Wait, where can I come find you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I am going to be all over the place. Look for cameras, and they'll probably be attached to me in some capacity. Yeah, or if you see a drone above you, just know that that's me on the other.
Don't throw rocks. Don't throw rocks.
Do not.
I had a feeling Tanner was going to say throw rocks.
You did. You said it almost immediately as I said that.
We've had sample glasses thrown at the drone before.
That's like the worst
dude.
thing.
I could see it at a beard thing. Come on.
I tell my coworkers who haven't had as many experiences, event experiences under their belt as I have. I tell them, I'm like, this whole event, you are just dealing with intoxicated toddlers. Just assume go into every interaction, assuming that you're going to be dealing with an intoxicated crabby toddler. Well, not crabby. I shouldn't say crabby.
Crabby. We're just looking at a big drunk baby.
Not unpredictable and generally slightly unreasonable. But it doesn't mean they're not having a good time and having fun.
Hopefully less.
It's a good time. And again, getting back to that people watching point. Oh my God, there's I'm glad that I'm being paid to be there, to do my job and as a people watcher, professional people watcher. So. Yeah, Winter Beer Dabbler, February 22nd,
I'm excited.
2025.
I'm excited.
It'll be a fun time.
dude.
Get your tickets, beerdabbler.com.
There we go.
Thanks for the plug there,
Oh,
Tanner.
absolutely.
Thanks.
Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Last year, I came home and took a nice nap on my kitchen floor. So I'll let you guys know how this year goes.
We'll, yeah, for that plug, we'll let you come back next week.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Well, so what we wanted to talk about during this middle part of the show isn't just the Beer Dabbler. I'm looking forward to that, of course. But we wanted to sort of have a slightly different type of conversation than we generally have on Northern Lights. Not talking about the news, but talking about an alternative approach to regulating cannabis. Something called a Cottage Cannabis Exemption that's sort of been floating around a little bit in Minnesota recently. And we wanted to sort of spend some time talking about what this would mean for consumers, what it would mean for businesses, and just sort of bringing to the psyche, the zeitgeist, if you will, an alternative idea of how to regulate cannabis that perhaps isn't taking as much footing as some think it should. But first, a short break. Are you ready to kick off your home grow? We've got the perfect hookup for you, MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com. They've got everything from fast flowering strains to unique hybrids, all ready for growing in Minnesota. And guess what? Our listeners get an exclusive deal. Use the code NL10 for a 10% discount on your entire order. Don't miss out. Get the best seeds and start your grow strong with MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com. Remember, NL10 for 10% off. That's MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com. Grab your seeds today. And we're back. We're sitting here today with Casey of Natural Harvest. How's it going, man?
Hey, Tanner. Thanks for having me back.
Super happy to have you back in the studio. It is a new month, so we are here to talk about the seed of the month for February.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. This month, candy theme for the Valentine's month. We're doing Skittles Auto.
Oh, a classic. Cool.
Yeah, exciting, good for the washing. And so we're excited to bring that in the auto variety.
Awesome. Well, sometimes the cultivars that we talk about here, you sort of have to give people the background on it. I feel like Skittles is a name that people know. You don't really have to say, but let's talk about it. I mean, what kind of terps can people expect with that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely like that, sweet flavor profile. Yeah. So
that candiness, making it, I see now, the perfect for Valentine's Day.
Exactly. Right.
Wonderful. God, Skittles has just been such a cool cultivar scene, really take over the cannabis scene. I heard for a while it was the gentleman's rule that if you're competing in cups, you're not allowed to do Skittles crosses, but that rule appears to have been gone because every single cup from 2024 that was a pretty major one around the country had some sort of Skittles cross that won or was in the top 3 every single time.
Yeah, ever since it hit the market, it's been like one thing after another. It's great.
Yeah, it's a knockout. Now, so for people who maybe this is the first time that they're hearing about the seed box, hearing about Natural Harvest, tell us a little bit more about how people can get these seeds and what is this seed box?
Yeah, so every month we do a seed drop. As I mentioned, this month is Skittles Auto, and you can find them at MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com.
Very cool. Awesome. So people can expect to get a different seed in the mail basically every month?
Yeah, absolutely. Every month we come out with something new. So, a little bit of something for everybody.
That's really cool. Awesome. And then just one more thing before we go, because we get a ton of questions from people who are really new to growing, who might not know the difference between an auto and a regular seed. We've talked about it on the show before, but if this is your first time tuning in, can you just tell people what makes the Skittles Auto in auto? What does that mean?
Sure. So a lot of people like autos. It's a little bit easier. It takes a step out of the equation. You don't have to set a light timer to figure out, your 12-12 to make sure that everything goes into flower with a normal photo period. And typically cultivars are mixed with ruderalis.
Okay.
And that kind of, gives it that like independence of the light cycle change.
Very cool. So this sounds like a plant that even if you're a new beginner to growing, maybe this is like your first time looking to grow plants indoors, you could get the seed box. You could have it delivered to your home. You could take those seeds and you could start growing cannabis like today, or I guess with the mail tomorrow.
Yeah, it might take a couple days, but yeah, absolutely. You can get started right away.
That's really, really cool. So just for people who maybe didn't catch it earlier, They're wanting to go and buy these seeds. They're looking forward to that February Skittles auto. Where would you send them to go get that seed?
MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com.
Awesome. And then for people that are looking to buy other seeds on your website, I heard there's a rumor there might be a discount code that listeners of this show could go and use. Is that NL10? Is that real?
Absolutely. Anybody who uses the code NL10 will get 10% off their purchase.
Cool. So maybe you're going to buy that seed box. You're looking to pick up a couple extra seeds on the side. Use that NL10 discount to get a discount on those seeds.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Casey, thanks for coming in. Thanks for another fun month of putting out seeds. I'm excited to be able to compare Skittles at the end of the month and see how our plants are doing.
Awesome. Thanks, Tanner.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll be right back. Hey, did you guys see they're proposing to roll back some of the TSA regulations before people search before you get on a plane?
Oh, you guys see they fired dozens of FAA
and then
leaders
like a crash happened
a week ago.
Hours later.
Are those things related?
No,
they couldn't be. They couldn't be.
Did you guys see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
I've seen them when they cannibalize each other. It's a taste you can see. That shit used to freak me out. Like the cannibal Cinnamon Toast Crunch guys. You guys remember that?
Oh yeah,
they like go wild and eat each other. As a kid, I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
And they're just like maniacal.
Yeah,
they're like crazy.
It's like,
see, and here's the problem: cereal companies can advertise sugary cereals to kids using stuff like that. But if I want to put a cartoon character on the outside of my edible product, suddenly OCM is coming and knocking down my door.
Felon.
Even if it's
felon.
Felon.
Yeah.
You could probably put it on a beer. Kale said you could. All right.
Yeah, I've seen Sonic the Hedgehog on a beer this week. So.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Was it official?
Oh yeah, 100%. It was like it's in our store.
No, I mean,
like Sonic.
It
3.
looked pretty.
Is it licensed?
No, I would assume not.
That's fair. I one time bought a cider that had rainbow candies in it, and that's how they got around to putting Skittles in their beer, or cider or whatever, not calling them Skittles.
Brilliant.
It tasted so bad.
Yeah, I was like, have you guys ever put Skittles in a drink?
Not willingly.
Shit sucks. No, I've done it. I've done it on purpose. It shit sucks. You learn that when you're like 12.
Have you ever put a Skittle in a bowl and then sparked that up?
You mean like, no.
In our next segment, Kale is going to be smoking a Skittle. He does get to choose the color, but unfortunately...
That's all.
He chose red. All right. We're going red.
Red.
And no, unfortunately, you got to hit it right in the middle. You can't go around.
Big bong.
Big.
Use the big bong.
And we're back. All right. So as we mentioned right before the break, we were sent a proposal, the Cottage Cannabis Exemption, that is slightly different than how cannabis is regulated on the wide scale today. And we want to just enter it into the psyche. Now, for those who are asking, why is it called the Cottage Cannabis Exemption? It's because here in Minnesota, we have something called the Cottage Food Exemption. Have you guys ever heard of that before?
Yes, because I love farmers markets.
Bingo, exactly. So I used to work at a farmer's market. We had a cottage food license. It allowed us to grow food. It allowed us to process food. And it allowed us to sell it to the people, as long as we followed certain rules while doing it. We had to make sure that the products weren't dangerous. We couldn't sell them in a store. We had to sell them like person to person or at a farmer's market. And we were capped on how much we'd be able to sell each year. Yeah. Now, this is actually sort of a newer thing to Minnesota. It's only been around for like 15, 20 years at this point. Yeah. But it's not how we used to regulate food products. But it is how we regulate hot sauces and sauces and
I think it was just like a way to get those real small niche food markets.
Absolutely.
Like captured in like
totally. I'm growing peppers in my backyard. I want to be able to make them into hot sauce. Sell them to my friends, not to like make a bunch of money, but just like cover costs. And I want to make sure I'm not breaking the law while doing it. Because as viewers of this show know,
as you make like
I hate breaking
$5,000-$6,000, it's like you're like, I want to make sure I'm doing everything.
Yeah, and so the state makes you take like a short class online to make sure that you're safe in what you do. They make sure that if you're making products, they have the ability to come in and inspect them if they get a complaint.
And you have to send in your label.
Yeah. And you have your number listed on the product. So if someone eats something and they're like, oh my gosh, this got me sick, I need to figure out how to solve this, there's a way to do that. Now, cannabis, people are approaching very differently. They're sort of approaching as something that is much closer to like a pharmaceutical drug where it needs to be protected through regulation. But when we think about cannabis, it's really something that is much more similar to like tomatoes.
It was regulated by like Department of Agriculture here.
Yeah, for the longest time.
Longest time, yeah.
And we've moved away from that. But I think if we consider once again what taking that the cottage food exemption and applying that mindset towards cannabis, you get something similar to what this draft bill is. Now, we'll put it in the show notes. People can check it out. But we're going to sort of talk through what this would allow, how it would look in Minnesota, and then we'll share our thoughts, whether we think it's good or maybe not. Now, as we mentioned, the cottage cannabis exemption, similar to allowing you to sell hot sauce for the food exemption, this would allow you to sell cannabis and cannabis products along with clones. You'd be able to home manufacture edible and concentrates, provided that you register with the OCM and abide by health and safety rules. You'd be capped just like hot sauces and pickles and so many other foods at $78,000 per year. Do you guys know where that number comes from?
No.
It's pretty made up, but it's.
I was
going to
say
I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm sure when the bill was passed, it was tied to something where they went, "This is that number."
It was like one test case would be
Totally.
with like one entrepreneur who was like, I made around this much, or one study where like most entrepreneurs make just under 80K. Like it's nothing serious.
Absolutely. So I was sitting down and I was like, all right, let's think about like if we set that $78,000 cap towards cannabis products, what does that actually mean towards selling? Because $78,000 of tomatoes, can you guys picture in your brain? Me neither. But
that's truckloads.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
$78,000 of cannabis products, if you average about $280 per ounce, that's about 17.5 pounds per year, or about 23 ounces a month. So you're selling about an ounce a business day.
That's a living.
Yeah.
That's an honest living.
Yeah.
If you're selling concentrates, assuming like $60 a gram, which is high, but like let's assume that you're selling.
This is craft. Cannabis
exactly.
That will be like at farmers
homemade.
markets,
That you're not selling to make a career, but to just sell your goods. 46 ounces per year, or about 3 to 4 ounces a month. If you were selling edibles, you could sell about 4 million milligrams of THC within a year. You could sell, assuming about $80 per clone, you could sell around 1,000 clones per year. Or if you average out people spending
two, 3 a day.
Yeah. We looked it up. The average spend on cannabis in a transaction in the United States is $62 per transaction. That's across all the different states. If we assumed that, people under this license would be having like 3 sales a day max. This isn't someone opening a store and like operating this huge, large business.
Yeah, it's just capturing like that lower ring of people who like have been using this thing as like a market anyways.
And I think if we're thinking about the mission of legalization, it isn't to get rid of the legacy market, but to transition the legacy market, to take these people that have been operating for decades, if not longer, and moving them into a regulated system. And this feels like
a step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This isn't you starting a food business where you can go and sell your hot sauce or your tomato sauce or whatever in a grocery store. It's just you being able to go and pop up at events. And we've already got a system for regulated cannabis events in Minnesota.
I was going to say.
Why not allow people under this registration to sell their products at registered events?
And it's going to be one of those licenses that's really going to hold up the industry. Like I'm talking about the event license to like hold up the industry and like have like smoking pop-ups in places or pop-up dispensaries in places where usually there won't be cannabis like for a bit. So adding something like this, it just allows the community to be roped right in because people have been growing for 2 years now, like even some of the people who've gone to the classes, gotten so
they're on like their
fifth
legal cycle of full grow in Minnesota. Yeah, so, we've got people that are doing this.
Yeah, so and what's the biggest industry issue is supply. So if we tell a bunch of craft guys, hey, you can max out at 78K of like legal sales to dispensaries. It's like, there we go. I think it solves a lot of problems around the industry and it does not cause any harm that this legalish prohibition stuff.
Well, and that's the thing that we keep getting back to is like, all right, let's say people really are like illegally selling clones out of their house.
Let's say they are.
What is that actual harm? Like someone has broken the law. They bought this plant. Like
and that's the thing. Let's just at least capture some of that instead of just because it's happening regardless. Like the people who are doing it, they don't care. They don't care about regulate. They're like, oh, they changed the law. I think our government really underestimates the amount of people, especially in the cannabis industry, who are completely like isolated and away from their shit.
And it would allow people, at least as it's written right now, to grow and possess more as well, because that's like a big restriction right now. If you want to grow to be able to give to others, like you better have some really big 4 plants because you're sort of capped on that. So this re-envisions it, instead saying when you're in public, you can have 2 pounds of flower because you're a distributor. You're going out, you're a registered seller. You can have 2 ounces of cannabis concentrate, which as of right now is 8 grams. I definitely am always following that rule. 5,000 milligrams of THC edibles, which right now is at 800. That's not a lot. Like you could walk out of the season sesh for $200 and be breaking the law. Insane. And it would allow you to grow more plants at home. It's proposed in here 32 total plants, max 16 flowering, or instead having a 200 square foot total space. Because if we think about how plants grow, if you have 1,000 plants in a tiny area, you're not growing more product than you are with 32 big plants in a large area. In fact, you're probably actually growing less in 200 square feet than you are with 32 plants.
Yep.
And again, the harm, people are growing these products, what it's getting out there, it has been.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about one other thing that people, I think, are a little bit more hesitant on, and that is the testing around these products. Now, in Minnesota, I'm looking forward to being able to walk into a store, know that product was tested, that they know it's safe, all that jazz, It's cool. But when we think about people selling from friend to friend or friend to family, is that test really something that we need to ensure that the product is safe? Because if we say you're not allowed to sell any product that have microbial contamination, chemical residue, or heavy metals, and then it turns out that you are, then you lose your exemption.
But it's like, I think that's one of the things that just comes from so far outside of the industry, because it's like, if we're buying cannabis flower, right? Unless it's your very first time ever buying cannabis flower, like you haven't been buying like tested stuff that has to be regulated, So it's like, I think starting with like who is taking this risk, it's like that's not a rule that's necessary for these people.
Here are my 5 reasons I thought them up why I think testing should not be required for these products. Number 1, safe practices grows safe cannabis. Yeah. If we teach people how to safely grow cannabis, we don't have to worry about all these things popping up.
Put your phone number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, drop it below. Cultivators and producers don't want to sell bad products. If you're trying to go out and make a name for yourself, you're trying to maybe make some money, you're not going to look and sell a bunch of bunk.
Like a free market?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that.
The next one, most consumer goods are not tested. I don't know if you guys know this, but the cereal that you ate this morning, nobody fucking sat down and lab tested that batch. They have SOPs to determine how to make safe products, and they do random testing.
Yes, I was going to say, for like all the fruits and vegetables we eat, not tested.
No.
It is like, if I check like 1 in every 10,000 and it doesn't have that many bugs in it, then the whole batch is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's be for real.
Yeah, 1,000%. Cottage cannabis would be clearly labeled under this rule. So similar to you buy hot sauce, it says this was made at home and not under the supervision of. This would require a statement that says,
I grew this in my backyard.
Yeah, these products are homegrown or home processed and not subject to state inspection or testing. And then finally, one that I think is really important is that testing limits people's participation in the program. If we want people to actually transition, we have to do it by making realistic rules that they can follow. I don't know if people know this. A test to run for like flower, if you're looking to send it off to a lab, you're spending about $100 just for potency. If you're looking to do the full spectrum, you're spending about $300 for a single batch of harvested cannabis that you could then maybe turn around and sell for a couple $100 more than that.
Right now, that's like burdensome to companies that have been around for years.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine someone who is capped at $78,000.
Yeah.
Like it would just be like, hey, we're giving you this thing. We really hope you don't do it. And if you try to do it, we're going to try to bankrupt you.
Yeah, totally.
If they were to keep those requirements. And
We allow adults to take on realistic risk when they go to a market and buy things that aren't under the supervision of general regulatory authorities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And people are fine. And when people get sick, we identify the problem and we solve it.
I feel like putting the testing requirements would be like, we have to make sure that every bartender, like didn't slip something in every drink.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to test every single
just,
alcohol product before someone gets in a cup.
Rational, yeah.
Yeah. Instead, what we could do is maybe say something along the lines of like, when people sign up for this, they have to take a class. And we say, here are some pesticides that we know are not safe. You can't use these under that cultivator license. If you're selling product and we hear, hey, you're using this, like that's dangerous. And you're then violating the rule. You're selling a hazardous product that's not allowed. It's almost as if practical regulation could solve this instead of just totally banning it entirely. Yeah. Especially, and I hate to keep coming back to this, but with that micro business license, now that we've seen the bar and where that's set, are there people that can meet that? Absolutely. Should it be a regulated industry? Perhaps. Are there also people that are safely growing cannabis that should be able to give that to people without facing, being thrown in jail? Yeah, absolutely there are. And we can find some sort of middle ground to continue to develop our, what is it they call it, our quirky, uniquely Minnesota cannabis program? Mm-hmm. I don't know. So again, this isn't a pitch per se. This isn't us saying this bill should pass tomorrow. I just think it's a unique idea.
It's a cool thing to look at like the little parts of the industry because everyone's been focused on all the licensing and this going on, that going on. But like people are at home growing weed and people who grow weed sometimes like to sell that weed. So we need to find a way to not make felons and criminals out of them because that is not what we
try lots of cool jars on Tanner's Terp Tasting. And I've talked to some of those people and asked, hey, do you plan to get a micro business license? And they look at me and they go, absolutely not. I've been doing this for years. Why wouldn't I keep doing this? And I think we need to create an easy path for people to follow.
Exactly.
The people that are doing that stuff would still be able to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Just under this.
But when it's like, oh, you need to you need to have this application and then you'll no longer be able to do this. And you have to
do it at a commercial property. You have to have insurance for it. If you have workers, you have to have them have the bargaining rights, which is important. But also like this would be one guy in his basement growing plants, going to his neighbor or friend or whatever and saying, hey, I got some extra weed. You want some?
Yeah. And it would be legal. That's I think just like the simple side. We're just legalizing what the community already does.
Yeah.
I feel like we should, there's a big success story of our cottage industry, Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I've got it in my fridge.
Dude, came up selling to family and friends, neighborhood, like corner stores, and now like restaurants are like, it's on their menu. It's like on their menus.
Yeah.
And it's like because he was allowed to.
Yeah. And following the natural growth of business of saying, wow, I've got so much business. I need to scale up. I need to get a commit kitchen.
I got something.
Instead of telling people, hey, you're starting your business, so I guess you got to invest like, I don't know, a couple $1 million, and then
we'll see
hopefully
what you got.
You have consumers.
We'll see what you got.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys going down that hole with me, chatting a little bit about that. We'll put the link to the full text of that in the show notes, so if people want to check that out, they can check it out. Oh yeah, I'll definitely send it to you. Well, you'll get it in the show notes because you watch every week. So.
Super engaged.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, we're going to submit some public comments, and then we've got a high note to round us out. We'll be right back. Ever felt like running a cannabis business means running in circles just to get basic banking? Union Bank and Trust gets it. They've been helping cannabis businesses for over 10 years, solving problems like securing accounts, managing cash flow, and navigating regulations. No more jumping through hoops, no more runarounds. Just straightforward banking solutions built on trust, integrity, and performance. That's unionbankandtrust.com.
Howdy everyone, Tanner here outside of the studio to show you how easy it is to leave a comment on the public comment window that OCM is currently holding. So all you have to do is have an email address, your name, and something that you want to comment. Here I am on OCM's website, which is mn.gov/OCM. You can click to the rulemaking page, or of course you can actually just scroll down to their calendar, click on that Granicus link right here next to public comment period closes on draft cannabis rules February 12th at 4:30 p.m. So a reminder to get it in before then. We can click on that link and it'll bring up the page. Here is the notice of intent to adopt expedited rules. So what we're going to first do is sign up for an account. This allows us to leave a public comment. All you have to do is enter in your email address. I'm going to go ahead and enter that in here. You can enter in a password. And then, of course, our personal information. Check I am not a robot, and then sign up. Now, it should send you an email that is needed to verify that your account is actually correct. So in a separate window, I'm going to go ahead and check into my email. I can see I got an email from Speak Up saying, welcome to OCM's rulemaking e-comment website. Click here to verify your link. I'll go ahead and put that into this window. And there we go. Our account is successfully confirmed. We're now signed in to leave a public comment. Now, to do that, all you have to do is scroll down, hit on discussions, because this actually takes you back to the main page. But by hitting on discussions, you can see all the available discussions or public comments. Scroll to the Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management. Scroll down until you see View Topic. You can see there's 112 responses as of recording this, which is really good. Thank you to everyone who's given a response already. And then here is all the comments that have been given thus far. You can read through all the available comments, or if you scroll right to the bottom, you have the opportunity to leave a comment yourself. Now, I already typed up a comment. They don't have to be long. As you can see, some of them are only a couple sentences long. I have a Google Doc here talking about the source of plants and seeds, which as of the draft rules, how they're written right now, after December 1st of this year, can only come from sources authorized by the OCM. I have some thoughts about this that I typed up in that public comment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this over to the public comment window right here. Paste that down below. If I had attachments I wanted to upload, I could totally go and upload those here. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and press post. And that's it. My comment is now out there for the world to see, hopefully to help influence how these rules end up looking. And that was it. Less than 3 minutes to be able to leave a public comment, to be able to help influence the rules of how our cannabis industry would look. Now is your time to do that, as you can see on OCM's website. February 12th, 4:30 p.m. It's your last opportunity. You have to get them in by then. So make sure to go to OCM's website, mn.gov/OCM. Click on that Granicus Ideas link and go ahead and leave a public comment. All right, back to the studio. Thanks, guys.
Oh, it's 4:20 o'clock. Okay.
420 blazes.
420. Yay! I don't really have a good 420 sound effect.
I have a good story about 420. I went to Hideaway Smoke Shop, which we talked about earlier, in Dinkytown on 420 when I was in college. Super excited to get a discount on a bunch of glass.
That's like a pilgrimage.
It is. We were in there. I was there at 4:20 p.m. and one of the customers or one of the employees who was working there went, "It's 4:20," and all the customers went, "Woo!" And then they were like that silent afterwards. We all were just like, "Oh, yeah, we did that. Okay." Like we're all just still waiting in line to buy this. But
it's like the two guys who finished first at an orgy. They're just like,
Okay.
Was that a Marcus?
That's
line?
a Marcus comment. Yeah. That's
just not sure what to. Just hang out in the kitchen like so.
got sandwiches.
Yeah.
So good. Well, the high note. That's what we are here for. That's what we're here for. It's another week, another episode to end out. I love when I get to start out by doing like, all right, guys, it's time for the high notes. And I see the look of fear spread across the studio as we're all like, oh, what was our high note again?
It's sometimes maybe tough to find a bright, shining moment in times like these and these unprecedented days we find ourselves in. But we try.
We try.
Yeah. I think my handout for today is going to be something that I want to leave the negative energy of behind in January. So maybe a low note? No, it's a high note that we're moving on from it.
An uplifting note.
Yeah, maybe. My note is fuck the home buying process. Have you guys ever thought about that, considered that at all before?
Yes.
Thinking, yeah.
It is the absolute worst. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was excited to go look at a home. Now, how homes work is you sort of have to see them the same day they're posted. Otherwise, someone else has already bought it because just like with everything else, I don't know, limited supply. And so you go and you look at a home and you go, man, this is great. You make an offer and they go, oh, I'm so sorry. Someone offered $500 more than you. So get them next time, buckaroo. So then you go look at the next house. You go to the open house for it. You show up. Nobody's there because someone made an offer and they just opted not to tell anyone that the open house was canceled. Or maybe you go and look at a home that's priced super low on purpose because they want to get people in, knowing there's going to be an offer for way higher.
Or like, yeah.
Yeah, so you go being like, how the fuck is this home like way below what I think it should be?
Someone offered $5,000 more.
Exactly.
Cash.
Yeah, it's because someone's going to pay for it. And so I just I hate that. And I just needed a soapbox or a place, a captive audience, if you will, to just say, fuck that whole process.
Yeah. I've had friends who like looked over like 40 plus properties. They wrote handwritten letters to these people being like, they did everything that they were like supposed to do. And it was, I think they were rocking like a year and a half of just looking at things and just it not working out.
Yeah. And I'll get an email sometimes being like, oh, a home's going on the market today. Like, are you free in like an hour and a half? And it's like, no, I'm living my fucking life. Like, I don't have just free time to drop and go look at a home that someone else has already bought. But
my friend bought a house this summer, and he was looking for around a year. And he had to buy it right away because I think it was, at that point, it had been like 30 some houses where it's like, hey, this is someone it's like literally over and over and over and over and over again. But as soon as he bought it, it was like, oh, you gotta fix this, fix this, because he bought it without doing any of the other shit because it had been. He's like, if I wait literally a second, someone else will come and buy this house, and like, I can't have it.
And I'm not making it easier. I told my realtor I need an area that I can have 4 garden beds outside a public view in a locked backyard because the rules around growing cannabis. So I guess you gotta follow the law, as you guys, as you know. So.
What a Boy Scout, Tanner!
What a Boy Scout! All right, so putting home buying aside, what is your guys' high note? Let's change the energy. What do we got? Anything?
Arsenal, the Premier League soccer team.
Okay, all right, John. We're both going sports today.
Oh, welcome to the sports podcast.
Welcome to the sports corner.
We were kind of thinking about it earlier. It's like, why not? Why not talk about them? Yeah. They are in the final 8 of the UEFA Champions League for the first time since I was like 7 or 6. And I've been a fan since I was like 4 or 5.
Wow.
So that's been exciting, but like not too exciting to be honest. It's not as exciting as it should be, but I've been loving it.
The distraction isn't as distracting anymore, is it? No, unfortunately not. I'm gonna go also in the sports world. Last night, as of recording this episode, Marc-Andre Fleury, the future Hall of Fame goalie, is the first goalie in history to record a shutout as both a teenager and as a 40-year-old, which has never been done before, obviously.
Yeah.
Like he has to be like 45 now.
No, I think he's 40 or 41. He's early.
No way.
He's been in the league since he was 18.
Dude, okay, maybe that's why.
He's been around forever. He's been around for 22 years.
I was like 4th grade.
Yeah. No, Marc-Andre Fleury has always been. But last night he got a shutout 4-0 against Montreal, which is his home, essentially his hometown.
Yeah.
He got a 5-minute standing ovation from the away crowd.
Yeah.
Every single player on the
they went up to shake his
home team waited on the ice for him to finish all his like kind of circling and waving, and then shook his hand. Like, this guy is an icon.
So awesome.
It's a high note for me as a hockey fan. to have witnessed that as it was happening live, because that is going to be a historic game, a historic moment.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching as long as things don't blow up on us. Yeah. We're going to be watching that type of a clip for decades to come. So,
and like in hockey, like you're a hockey fan.
Yeah.
Goalies flame out so often. Someone could be playing Hall of Fame level for like 2-3 years, and then I think of Bob Vrosky, that dude who was like, he's like amazing, and then it's like, he's ass. Like and that happens with goalies all the time. This fucker, since he was 18, he's been like grind. So like he's been a top goalie since then. And like I remember just like I'm just thinking of how many teams he's been with too now. It's like, dude,
4 teams, like, and he's won Stanley Cups with 2 of them. And just a prolific career. I love a lot of sports, but I really love the element of sports where it's watching somebody or a group of people just be absolutely excellent at something.
Yeah.
That is what I'm cheering for, regardless. And I think that's why I like motorsport so much, is it offers a lot of very specific stories and fandom and drives, for lack of a better term. But Marc-Andre Fleury, the greatest of all time. Hats off to that.
Still doing it.
Canadian.
Still standing on his head, dude.
What a guy.
Yeah. I wake up
also so flexible.
Dude, these Canadians they're so good at hockey. They're so good.
Well, there's nothing else to do. I take that back. I love Canadians.
Buy American goods and
so coming down to the seat and sesh while you can.
Yeah, come see Kale. Come see Kale before Ice does.
You guys should get that on a shirt. Come see Kale before Ice does. Seat and sesh. Staff. We laugh about it now, but this clip could be really dark in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, guys, what a positive high note. I like those.
It's hard to escape. I'm sorry.
We try. Let's just be that shining ray of light in hopefully the dozens of people that pretend to listen to the show.
I forever will think of Green Machine's meme of like the water spilling out of the tube and the guy slapping the flex tape on it that just says dabs, and it's like how I deal with the problems of the world. And big dabs. And check our episode of Tanner's Chirp Tasting coming on Friday. There's our plug. It's how we get by, how we get high, and how we survive.
Stay fly.
Stay fly and never drive while
high. We see those billboards.
Although future episode, we should talk about some of the studies around that and how it's actually a lot safer to drive under the influence of cannabis than it is while operating a cell phone. But future episode.
I'll be an experiment dummy.
There we go.
We should get like one of the driving simulators and just like feed you dab.
Yeah. Dude, how many grams of dab?
Jordan does 900 laps of the Nürburgring before he crashes out. Yeah.
Wow. Imagine if we treat it like a pit stop where it's like you're driving, it's just like, you got to quick pull over. Just pull over. Yep, we hand you the Puffco already running.
Go green.
Wipe your forehead.
The fastest dab done in only 1.4 seconds.
That's a new season record. Yeah. I think, Fanatec steering wheel and pedal systems, if you want to sponsor a future episode of, send us a simulator, please. Thanks.
Just, you're in it every episode.
I'm just back here. I'm just like, sorry guys. I got somebody on my ass.
There's a camera on you. What now?
Oh, yeah. Good one, Tanner.
Oh, wow. We'll come into a future episode. Check it out. But for today, that's all we got. So, guys, you can find us at the Dabbler Depot Seed and Sesh. Come and join us here. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, LinkedIn, YouTube, Blue Sky. Go and check that out. If you're a fan of the show, leave us a rating or review in the Apple Podcast, Spotify, or just tell a friend, tell a family member. And thank you all for listening.
Tell someone you don't like.
Yeah. Fuck you. Listen to Northern Lights.
Yeah. Just like that.
Do it on the street.
It works on some folks.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a seed reminder?
Put your plants in the ground. There you go.
Seed reminder. Yes. Yes. If you have not been growing, you should. Especially if you want to grow outdoors. If you want to grow outdoors, you should start those seeds like yesterday.
Yes.
Hey, Jordan, have you ever heard when the best day to plant a tree is?
I think it was October 12th, 1972.
Close. It actually was yesterday. But do you know the second best day to plant a tree?
Today?
Today.
Right now.
The best time to plant your cannabis seeds was yesterday. But you know the second best time? Right now. Pause the episode. Well, I guess you can finish it. And then go plant your seeds. Grow outdoors. But not those autos. Don't start those inside yet. All right, that's all we got.
That's all we got.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back in your feeds in a week. Check the trip tasting on Tuesday. Thank you for listening. We'll be back. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew.
See ya.
Northern Lights is a Minnesota Cannabis College production. This episode was produced by me, Tanner Barris, and by Steve Eigenman and Jordan Witt. Production assistance from Marcus Harkis, Shayna Payton, and John Barty. Video and audio recording at the Dabbler Depot Studio by Jordan Witt. The information provided in this podcast does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice, but is instead for general information purposes only. No listener should act solely on the basis of information provided without first seeking advice from their own legal counsel. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Minnesota Cannabis College. Please listen responsibly.
Thank you.